India-Indonesia bonhomie, Indonesian President Subianto said that he has Indian DNA. His remarks left Indian President Murmu and Prime Minister Modi in splits. The Indonesian leader also expressed his love for India's Bollywood music during his visit to New Delhi, where he was the chief guest at India's Republic Day celebrations on Sunday. This comes on the backdrop of the historic BrahMos cruise missile deal between the two countries. According to reports, the $450 million deal is in its final stages. Our next report gets you more on the story.
A few weeks ago, I had my genetic sequencing test and my DNA test, and they tell me that I have Indian DNA.
This is Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto. His marks during the presidential dinner in New Delhi left Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi in splits. Other dignitaries couldn't control their laughter either.
A few weeks ago, I had my genetic sequencing test and my DNA test, and they tell me that I have Indian DNA. So, and everybody knows when I hear Indian music, I start dancing. So, it must be part of my makeup.
Deepening bilateral and cultural ties between India and Indonesia were at full display during President Subianto's visit to New Delhi. The Indonesian delegation even performed a Bollywood song at Indian President Droupadi Murmu's banquet, while Subianto hailed the India-Indonesia connection.
India and Indonesia have long, ancient history together. We have civilizational links. Even now, a very important part of our language comes from Sanskrit. Our names, many names of Indonesia are actually Sanskrit names. And in our daily life, the influence of ancient Indian civilization is very strong. I think it's also part of our genetics.
President Subianto also lauded India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, saying he has learnt a lot from him.
I come here few days, but I learned a lot. I learned a lot from Prime Minister Modi's leadership programs and your commitment to alleviate poverty, your commitment to help the marginalized, to help the weakest part of your society is an inspiration for us.
President Subianto was on his first state visit to India. He was also the chief guest at India's 76th Republic Day celebrations, where a contingent of Indonesian armed forces and military band also participated in the ceremonial parade.
इंडोनेशिया हमारा मुख्य अतिथि देश था और यह हमारे लिए अत्यंत गर्व का विषय है कि जब हम गणतंत्र के 75 वर्ष मना रहे हैं, इंडोनेशिया एक बार फिर इस ऐतिहासिक अवसर का हिस्सा बना है.
Subianto's visit was aimed at strengthening India-Indonesia ties. During his visit, New Delhi and Jakarta signed and renewed 5 memorandums of understanding catering to a wide range of fields, including health and traditional medicine and maritime security. The two nations also agreed to strengthen their defense ties and maritime cooperation in the Indo-Pacific amidst the growing Chinese aggression in the region.
इंडो-पैसिफिक क्षेत्र में इंडोनेशिया हमारा महत्वपूर्ण पार्टनर है. इस पूरे क्षेत्र में शांति, सुरक्षा, समृद्धि और रूल बेस्ड ऑर्डर को बनाए रखने के लिए हम दोनों प्रतिबद्ध हैं. हम सहमत हैं कि अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कानूनों के अनुरूप फ्रीडम ऑफ नेविगेशन सुनिश्चित होना चाहिए.
At the center of the India-Indonesia defense ties is a $450 million BrahMos missile deal. New Delhi is close to signing this mega defense deal with Jakarta, which showcases its strength to indigenously develop defense equipment and missiles. Reports say the deal is in its final stages. The deal, once signed, will make Indonesia the second ASEAN nation to buy BrahMos missiles. The Philippines has already placed a $335 million order to India for the BrahMos cruise missiles. This marks a significant step in India's defense diplomacy, especially amid China's rising aggression in the Indo-Pacific. Countries in Southeast Asia are pushing to modernize and bolster their militaries as the Indo-Pacific and the South China Sea remain a flashpoint with an assertive China and Donald Trump back in the White House.
From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, shedding light on the world's top headlines, detailed analysis on the stories that matter the most to you. Catch it all on Spotlight at 6 p.m. India time and 12:30 GMT, only on Firstpost.
We're calling the show Vantage. We hope you like what we've put together for you. Touted as the minimum defense from that video. India's neighbors were the first to send the special edition of Vantage live from the White House throughout the week. Hindu Mandir we're on our way to Tel Aviv. Pretty measure, but it's also the perfect way to drive.
I don't think that
Prime Minister of Bhutan, Sherin Tagwe. Welcome to
60% of the world's
office. Prime Minister Modi did the iron.
We were actually
How are you doing? How do you like? It's been 1 year since that meeting. Iron bars separate you from the outside. Out the vote effort. Trump had, it says, and at $4.3 trillion. 300 billion by 2030. That's what we need to tackle climate change.